What the fuck? Oh my god, it's the wrong map! Okay, back to Lobby Sim, everybody! Oh, son of a bitch. Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander of Forged Alliance Forever, where today we're going to be doing something different. I'm going to live cast a game for the first time. We're going to be casting a very high-level Seton's game. It's going to be an 1800-plus lobby. In fact, you can see I'm sitting here in the lobby right now. So before we get into it, I would like to say thank you all, and for just joining today. Just, you know what, everybody deserves to be appreciated, so I appreciate you. And consider liking and subscribing, and we're gonna cut to when the game starts. Ooh, editing magic, whatever. Yes! I've escaped! I've escaped the lobby sim! Let's get into this cast. Oh, man. That is the longest, funniest lobby sim ever. Okay, starting with Team 1 in the top right and Team 2 in the bottom left. We're on Seton's Clutch. It's a 4v4. Of course, I already spoke about it. Bunch of reclaim here in the middle. Let's introduce our players. I'm a fucking auctioneer! Okay. Starting in the top right with the Red Aeon Best Faction going first land. His name is Willy Wanker Noob, and he is the air player for Team 1. Moving on to his first ally, we are going to be introducing the Rock player next. He is a gray / green / weird ass color, never know what to say. Aeon player, which is Best Faction, going first air by the name of Tagada. Then to his front player, the middle player, of course, a blue Cybran going first land by the name of Usukmatic. We're gonna call him Mad. And then we have ourselves a green UEF player going first land by the name of No One Cares. Moving on to Team 2, we have ourselves a blue Cybran in the air position going first land by the name of Snid. Then we can move on to his rock player. The rock for Team 2 is going to be a red Cybran going first air by the name of Ski. And then to the front lines, of course, we have a Cyan UEF going first land by the name of When Day Breaks. Then, last but not least for this game, we have ourselves a pink Aeon going first land. He's been in a recent cast showing off how broken Exodus class destroyers are, and here he is again as he has been immortalized in this stop motion picture we're looking at. And he's gone first land. His name is Hachamacha! And he's of course Aeon again. Everybody everybody selected random faction, and who lost connection to each other. When Day Breaks is the one having issues. So until this is fixed, oh, never mind, it is fixed now. So we have to talk about the map a little bit. We do have these two islands. It's Seton's, everybody knows about it. There's a ton of reclaim in the middle, and we also have a single factory for mechs opener out from the blue Cybran. It's, of course, Dave or Mad. I don't know which one I'm going with. He's built a bunch of hunters. I think that's 4 or 5 to be exact. 4. And he's going to try and get a run-by in. Of course, we cannot select players. I'm clicking right now. So I'm just going to guess they're outside of vision range, because if they are in vision range, he would start building mech marines right now. Oh, never mind, he does have mech marines. He does have a vague idea of what's going on as far as this little harassment coming out from the blue Cybran Dave. We're gonna go with Dave. But we have these two side islands. The rock players, generally the ones who get it, but of course there's always room for upsets in this very high rated game. Speaking of which, we have a game balance of 94%, which is a relatively well balanced game. One of the mech marines goes down to a hunter, and a hunter goes down to the mech marines. Actually, 2 go down to those 2 mech marines. 1 mech marine is still alive with 11 HP, but this is kind of inconsequential, as engineers will you'll be able to get out another mech marine in time, and this is going to delay the hunters from trying to be aggressive anymore. As we reach the middle, Winday Breaks will be there first, as he did not build those mass extractors, just went straight for the factory and then walked. So he should be in a better position to get slightly more reclaim than his opponent, and that is what it's all about after all, isn't it? But as I was speaking about the islands, we of course have a transport now out and on the way for Tagada. He's going to be the first player to get a transport up and the first player to send off his units. Ski not quite as far along in his transport goals, but should be building one right now, and yes, he is. And he'll be having his transport head out this way. In the beach position over here for Team 1, we have No One Cares, who could very possibly... No One Cares and Winday Breaks. We have, or wait, No One Cares and Winday's Break. I thought they were on the same team for a second, but they're not. We have very much so players with names that are phrases, and Hacha Macha, which I'm sure stands for not something. Actually, probably doesn't, but you know. Whatever, this is the internet. I can say what I want, and you can't stop me. Actually, you can. The world is not quite as Wild West as it maybe once was. Winday Breaks and Dave here in the middle getting their reclaim on. As far as the side islands go, because that's kind of all we really have to look at the moment, it is Tagada landing with multiple engineers, going to be able to get up mass extractors, probably going to build a factory sometime soon on that island, just secure it for the long haul. And on the other side, the transport has finished, and we can see that the transport out from Ski now making its way over towards the island. It's going to be able to make its way relatively quickly as it flies over the mountain ranges and makes its way eventually to the island where it can, where the engineers can feast on the plentiful trees and gather up resources via mass extractors. Okay, I'm done doing my nature documentary thing. In the middle, No One Cares, or Winday Breaks. Jesus, I'm apparently going to have issues with their two names. Dave and Winday Breaks are over here. They haven't really done much damage to each other. The Cybercom at a disadvantage, of course, just simply having lower health overall. But does have that slightly higher health regeneration, which apparently is supposed to make up for it, but doesn't. These players working on their reclaim. As far as reclaim goes, we can kind of check it based off score, but we can't get accurate numbers. Winday Breaks doing slightly better on score, so I'm going to assume he's doing slightly better on reclaim, but could very much so be wrong about that. This live casting thing, I don't know how often I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it from time to time just because it's something interesting and I don't know what's going to go on beforehand, and it's just kind of gonna help me make sure I pay attention to the minimap more, because usually I watch the replay at least half paying attention, and I have a general idea of when things are gonna happen, but with this I have no idea. Dave and Winday Break still throwing shots at each other, still going to be getting a bit of damage done. Yellow health now for Dave as he's gonna slowly regen back up, but seems like more shots out from Winday Breaks than have come out from Dave's comm. Possibly a little bit of harass also going down from some of his units, but overall looking like it's pretty even here in the middle. The islands both going to their respective owners, the ones that you would expect. Both rock players able to grab up the islands, and now we have T2 upgrades all over the map. People getting a lot more economy underneath their belts. T2 Air finished up for Snid, and on the other side we have T2 Air also about to finish up. Yep, finishing up now for Willy Wanker Noob. The two lowest, or not the two lowest rated players, but the 1800 rated players, both in the air position. No One Cares being kind of an outlier this game, the only player below 1800. He is a 1600. He's playing the beach position up against Ski, who is a... Oh, wait, no, never mind. Snid is a 2200. Sorry, I have all of this wrong. So there's a bit of mismatching going on, but overall the team is still very well balanced, 94%. And both teams averaging out about 2,100 rating, very close. Team 1 slightly below Team 2, but maybe there's a game differential and Team 1 has more games. Either way, there's a bit of engagements going on between frigates and interceptors, a timeless but kind of pointless battle that happens seemingly every game where there's both Navy and air involved. The frigate not too great at killing off those interceptors. None of the frigates really are. And we have T1 bombers out from Ski, going to be trying to get some damage done. The rock player for Team 2. And we also have T1 bombers out from Wind Day Breaks, going to be trying to get damage done with that too. Looks like they may be going for air grid or engineers or anything of the sorts, but not quite sure until they start dropping bombs what they're going for. That could be a couple of dead engineers, but doesn't seem to be happening. And yeah, that's going to be landing on the air grid and on an engineer trying to build an air factory. Interceptors coming in to try and screen for the bombers out from multiple players, but it looks like the interceptors are going to be taken down along with the bombers out for Ski. Ski going to pick up a couple more of engineers for his trouble. But I think that was a relatively poor investment. You're losing a lot of mass and you're kind of just dropping it on top of your opponent. And at this level, reclaim is on everybody's minds. These players are going to suck up all of the reclaim from this nearly immediately. So you have to play it a little bit more safely. We do have a drop now incoming out from Ski. It has been spotted and there are interceptors in the area. And it looks as though No One Cares is going to be making his way towards the transport with his interceptors. The transport needs to get out of here, needs to drop or do something here soon because it's getting shot at by these frigates, and that's just in general not what you want to see. And the interceptor is now coming up very quickly on the tail of this transport. Transport going to try and do the micro move to avoid dying in a single pass, but there were enough interceptors, so Ski says lol and accepts the fact that he's going to be dying. Somebody starts a T2 upgrade. I think that was, or a T2 upgrade has finished. I believe that was on Uskid, so that is indeed what's going to be happening. Usuk, you suck mad dick. Oh, it's you suck mad dick. That's what that says. Oh, man. I'm too much of a boomer. I couldn't figure that out. But yeah, you suck mad dick in the middle. Also, maybe or maybe not, I was using that to get past the first, what, 3 or 5 minutes where you're not supposed to curse. Actually, I probably cursed in the first 3 to 5 minutes anyways. No, I'm not going to try and play it off as if I was smart. You suck mad dick is what his name means, but Q's throw me off. Q's are weird. It's a weird letter. A frigate out from No One Cares manages to pick off a mass extractor for Ski. And that's about all of the aggression that's really going on right now. The transport drop not working and various other things happening means we're going to have a relatively standard early game and opener. Nobody really dying, nobody taking huge risks. Both Wind Day Breaks and You Suck Mad Dick have decided to go for the T2 upgrade and have decided to focus more on playing a defensive style and just eco up and get to the late game. We do have a pause out from Hachamacha, and we'll probably just be cutting to the point where that's no longer going to be a thing. Overall, we can see that there's a decent amount of Navy. It looks like the naval presence for No One Cares is definitely going to outstrip the likes of Ski's Navy. And on the other side, it does seem that Tagada is going to be matching the naval production of Hachamacha. Hachamacha might be able to show us yet again how overpowered the Exodus class destroyer is, but maybe not, as both the players in the southern pond are Aeon. Blessed be the day where the Aeon outnumber the non-Aeon. In fact, I think there's more Aeon than any other faction in this game. We have 3 Aeon, 3 Cybran, and 2 UEF. So, never mind. Aeon and Cybran, I guess it's respectable. I would put the UEF slightly above the Cybran, but actually, you know what? No, Cybran look cool. They have my favorite experimental. Cybran, second best faction. There you go, the duelist. I'm not gonna be so rude as to put your favorite faction on 4th on your freaking tier list. Everybody go if you're a true Willow fan, go to that video where he ranks every single FA faction. Give it a like, subscribe to his channel, and go into the comments and tell him how wrong he is about Aeon being the worst. In the Northern Navy, we have a bit of a engagement popping off between Ski and No One Cares, but No One Cares just has more frigates, so there is no way this goes poorly for him. But there's a lot of factories now coming online for Ski, and a lot of factories coming online for really all of the naval players. The lowest amount of factories we're seeing right now is 3 out of both of the beach players, and these players are going to be able to start getting out significant naval presence and being able to get to that T2 naval phase where you have very, very powerful units sailing around and doing things. T3 air now achieved by both Snid and Willy Wanker Noob, so both sides going to be able to duke it out in the air relatively soon. Going to be even seeing some air aggression here soon, the likes of strap bombers and other nice little tools that these players can use to abuse the enemy land and naval units. Looks like we're going to be seeing T2 air invested in by Hachamacha. We also have T2 air probably going to be finishing up for other players. Nope, just T2 air for Hachamacha, going to opt for torpedo bombers to help him supplement his naval forces. And over here we have engagements between the frigates of You Suck Mad Dick and the frigates of Hachamacha. Hachamacha seemingly in a very bad position as he's outnumbered by Tagada as far as just pure frigate count goes, and it does seem that You Suck Mad Dick has managed to get into the Navy himself and is going to help out his high-rated player, or his highest-rated teammate, Tagada being the highest-rated player in this game. We have a nice fanning out of UEF frigates across the front line over here for No One Cares. Going to be creating a wall of protection between himself and his opponent. Not going to be able to sneak anything past his self-blockade? What's it called whenever you blockade, but it's like your own port? Like you just put all of your ships outside of your own port in a defensive manner. Not quite sure what that's called, but that is going to result in Ski now getting out and starting to have some aggression. Looks like Ski might have more frigates overall, which is a quick change from just a mere couple of minutes ago. And now there's a ton of frigates down here fighting. Hachamacha needs to be careful and needs to address this relatively soon. Possibly need to see some torp bombers coming out very, very soon if he wants any hope of not losing too many production facilities. If he loses too many here, it kind of just gets hopeless. We have Riptides now showing up for Wind Day breaks to try and help his pink ally. T3 now on the way for You Suck Mad Dick, and naval engagements happening in the north and in the south simultaneously. In fact, let's go ahead and see, can I do the thing? Let's go ahead and swap over to a camera angle where we can see both, and we can see these players duke it out. The frigates for Hachamacha and the frigates, well, Hachamacha, Ski, No One Cares, Tagada, and You Suck Mad Dick all participating in these naval engagements. Looks like Hachamacha is going to be able to defend off the incursion from Tagada and You Suck Mad Dick. And on the top side, one second, do that. On the top Navy, we have Ski slowly pushing back No One Cares. No One Cares getting up a lot more factories, going to be able to start producing a lot more frigates, but he is now behind in the frigate count, and Hachamacha admirably able to defend against Snid and Tagada. Or not Snid, You Suck Mad Dick. They're very close in color and they're the same faction. Don't at me. Frigate really dead right there. That frigate had a very bad day. Poor Trident. And Ras on the way for Willy Wanker Noob as the air grids start to get built up by both sides. Overall, in the ASF count department, it's kind of hard to tell, but I think they've reached parity. They're both kind of on the same number maybe even a little bit of a lead for Willy Wanker Noob, but that's going to go down as he's investing a lot of resources into RAS. It's a temporary setback for a long-term gain. In news of other upgrades, it seems most people are getting T2, T3 seems to be the call. T3 about to finish up for Yusak Mad Dick. Could see a Monkey Lord rush if he really wanted it. A lot of Mantis really helping out on the build of that upgrade. And there's a bunch of frigates now in the southern side again. Hachamacha needing to defend once again his territory under threat. T2 nearly finished for Hachamacha, as T2 has already finished up for Tagada, and he's getting out his first destroyer. It has just completed, and he's gonna need to get that over here quickly. The advantage of fighting so close to your factories is the second something finishes, it can kind of just start fighting. The disadvantage being, of course, your factories are under threat during all of that time. It seems as though the units out from both Hachamacha and Wind Day Breaks are going to be able to force back Tagada for now. And the destroyer will not be here in time to really participate in any of the aggression going on. And there's going to be a destroyer finished for Hachamacha before this one makes it all the way across the map. So that's not going to be of consequence. And over here on the northern side, it's just no one cares. Has been left on his own. He doesn't get the support like Yusak Mad Dick has given to Tagada. And he's kind of in a rough position. He finishes up T3. He rushes T3, completely skips the T2 phase, and is going for a battle cruiser immediately, which is going to be a very rude awakening once it gets built for Ski, as he's just now getting into heavy destroyer production. Those battle cruisers able to really just mop the floor with destroyers and able to really just take them out very quickly. So gonna need to see an adaptation out from Ski. The general answer is you go for battleships, but those are quite expensive, and I'm not sure if he is behind or not economically. A lot of T3 mass extractors now finished up for No One Cares, and I'm not really seeing that many finished up for Ski. We have one, maybe two done, but there's three over here for No One Cares. Yusak Mad Dick and Tagada down in the bottom, working their way forward towards the production facilities of Hachamacha. And Riptides, frigates, and destroyers for Hachamacha. And Wind Day Break's going to be trying to defend off all of this. Ooh. That shot hitting a frigate. I don't know if it actually... That may not actually hit. But dealing damage are these frigates. And the destroyer, of course, for both sides. Very significant that you keep your destroyer alive longer than your opponent keeps theirs. In these early engagements, when you both have maybe one or two destroyers, you want to just focus on keeping your destroyer count high. Keep the frigates in front, let the frigates tank all of the damage. And Wind Day Breaks and Yusak Mad Dick investing a lot into their navy. I think Wind Day Breaks investing a lot more than Yusak Mad Dick, but Yusak Mad Dick does go for the early T3 sonar system to try and give his side an advantage in the detection of his opponents. The destroyers out from Hachamacha moving forward, going to be trying to deal some damage to the frigates and the enemy destroyers. We can also see some engineers over here reclaiming. In the northern pond, that battlecruiser now able to push back a lot of these frigates and destroyers and just racking up kill after kill. 12 kills and 4,000 mass killed on just that one Neptune. And gonna need a solution to this very soon. When you cancel 30% T3 Navy, oof. And the southern side looks like the air forces for SNID kind of posturing around the naval forces of Hachamacha and Wind Day Breaks.
There's a bunch of destroyers kind of just sitting over here, throwing out harassing shots, flirting with the idea of actually hurting their opponents. Very much so a it's quite the standoff watching Exodus versus Exodus fights. It's like watching two toddlers try and throw lawn darts at each other. Accuracy is a very rare commodity, but when they do hit, those toddlers really feeling it. Over here in the middle, defenses are fighting each other, as they do. Triad versus Cerberus. Cerberus winning, but I think that's mainly thanks to the fact that Yusuck Mad Dick is still here with his comm, and of course there's a Neptune-class battle cruiser. Just throwing shots. Very nice naval engagements this game. On both ends. In the southern side, we have a bigger naval engagement. We also have Whaler T3 heavy gunships out from SNID to try and help the naval forces of Hachamacha and When Day Breaks. Hachamacha getting a ton of support from his allies. A Neptune-class battlecruiser now finished up for When Day Breaks on this side as well. Tagada getting heavily focused on, but now there's a huge effort out from Yusuck Mad Dick and from Willy Wanker Noob to try and help out their allies as a huge engagement breaks out. Those whalers going to be going down momentarily, and ASF are going to be running for Willy Wanker Noob as the naval battle persists for Hachamacha and Tagada. The never-ending war. We have engineers in the back always reclaiming. Very important. Hachamacha been able to benefit from reclaim this entire time as all of the fighting's been happening on his side of the map. And that's really kept him in this one. And Tagada, even with the help and all of the destroyers now showing up before Yusuck Mad Dick, it may be a little bit too little and a little bit too late because the battle cruiser can show up anytime and really just put a nail in the coffin for all of the naval forces out here for Yusuck Mad Dick and Tagada. Battle cruisers on either side of this territory, either side of the land bridge, fighting each other. Over here, there's still massive naval battles going on. It's hard to tell who exactly is winning at any given time. Hachamacha seemingly running low on units, but he just has a bunch of Exodus. He's not wasting his time with frigates anymore. So, while having less units, he has higher tech units on the field. And Tagada, working his way up, now at T3, going to be building Omen-class battleships. First one finishing up as we speak. On the northern pond, the Neptune-class battlecruisers really a thorn in the side for Skiski, but Skiski now finishing up T3 and starting to build battleships. Has one completed, the battleship able to outrange and deal quite a bit of damage to those Neptune-class battlecruisers. The battlecruisers having substantially less health, less than half, or just slightly over half the health of a Galaxy-class battleship. Gonna be unable to really contest that, but the battle cruisers, they do their job quite well of killing off destroyers and killing off T1 frigates in a very efficient manner. And battle cruiser out for When Day Breaks, going to be getting hit by the cruiser fire out of the Governors for No One Cares. And the game has kind of calmed down. We had a few minutes there of very heavy action. Both the mid players losing their fire bases. Both of them now unable to really have a stronghold here in the middle of the map. Both of them actually being kind of dethroned by a battlecruiser as well, which is quite amusing to me, at least. Battlecruisers show up on both sides like, oh, he's doing the battlecruiser thing, I see. I guess I'll do it too. As we continue to watch the drunken toddler lawn darts competition that is Aeon naval battles. Though the battleship's having slightly faster projectiles, but significantly more range. Gonna be just a slightly different situation, but not all that foreign to these players. There's You Suck Mad Dick here in the middle. Looks like there could be a snipe attempt on him. There's a ton of whalers about to be showing up to try and kill off the comm of You Suck Mad Dick. Is there enough ASF in the area to deal with this? There's a huge air engagement now out between Snid and the whaler Willy Wanker Noob. The whalers now going to town on the comm of You Suck Mad Dick, going down to 5,000 HP and falling quickly. The DPS out from these whalers is intense, and You Suck Mad Dick's going to be our first ejection here at the 23-minute mark. He's not going to be able to survive this as he goes down to 20 HP and then falls. Our first player dying here, and with that, we also see a change in the tides of the air game. He did get a kill with those whalers, but at what cost? The eternal caster question, of course, at what cost? It's a full share game, as most Setons are. You killed off one player, but all of his mass extractors, all of his base end up going to Tagada, the highest rated player in the game, and you lost air control. Willy Wanker Noob now ahead in air. It was an even fight, and you lost a bunch of air units screening for those gunships. So the question of at what cost will be answered relatively soon, because it looks as though Tagada is going to be able to start producing a lot of battleships very quickly. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 factories producing battleships at a time. He's going to have... you know that board game you used to play called Battleship? He's going to be able to fire like 6 times for every time his opponent gets to fire. As battle cruisers run away from Galaxy-class battleships on both sides of the naval battle, and Galaxy classes being used heavily, Omen classes also being used. Huge naval battles ensuing on both sides, but it seems that Team 1 is just kind of ahead in the Navy. It just seems that that's the situation. We have a ton of torpedo bombers now being produced by Willy Wanker Noob, as he has gotten air control, and he immediately realized he had air control, and he's going to abuse it. Now, this will probably cost him to lose air control, but it's going to be a minute before that happens, so he's going to be able to get a lot of damage done, possibly put Hacha Macha and Winde Breaks into a situation where they cannot recover in the Navy. A Neptune-class battlecruiser going to be going down to torpedo bombers after a while. I mean, it's going to take a little bit, but these torpedo bombers are going to really start adding up a lot of damage onto these naval units out from Team 2. You see a constant stream of torpedo bombers coming in, and it looks like production has now been switched back to Coronas, as Willy Wanker Noob has realized he's produced enough to really make an impact on this southern side, and now he's deciding to go back to air production and maintain air control. The ASF out for Snid now going to be killing off torpedo bombers that have stopped. Looks like they were all targeted onto that Neptune-class battlecruiser, and I think that went down, or they lost their targeting in some way, shape, or form. Huge battle now taking place near the production facilities for Hacha Macha. Tons of battleships and an epic naval battle ensuing. These players just really throwing shots at each other, throwing units at each other. So many units being thrown around the map at any given time. A lot to keep track of, but I just love these beautiful shots they're giving us of these naval battles. Omen-class battleships, Galaxy-class battleships, Neptune-class battle cruisers, destroyers, those Exodus classes, frigates, of all kinds just out here in droves shooting at each other. It's exactly what you want to see. It's exactly what you think of when you think FAF. Maybe you don't think of specifically naval battles, but you think of these big battles with tons of units throwing shots into each other. The HQ, though, for when day breaks going down, maybe that was down to the torpedo bombers or down to the battleships, I'm not sure. But either way, that is going to be a huge blow for when day breaks. He was just now getting Summit-class battleships online to help with the battle. There's even a Kiefer-class aircraft carrier. There's so much going on. The Southern Navy is really where all of the fighting is happening. There's some scrimmaging going on between all of the battleships in the northern pond, and it looks like pressure being put on by No One Cares towards when day breaks base, but he has a lot of defenses set up. Don't really have any experimentals being built up other than a Tempest, which is just finished up for Hachamacha. We have all kinds of units over here. A battle for the ages taking place on these Pawns of Setons. We've seen so many naval battles, so many great naval battles on this map, and it never fails to disappoint when you get high-rated players in these games. Just to watch them throw shots back at each other, just fist fight their way through everything. Oh my word, how many okay. I was looking over here, I think I just saw like the production, but I thought I saw like 7 Galaxy class battleships here in the background. It's only like 4 or 5, but that's still a ton. Just look at it. Look at the beauty. The beauty of all of this going on. When you look at this, just try and tell me that this game is not one of the coolest games you've ever seen. I wonder, at what point does things start despawning? Alright, sorry, I've been awestruck for a couple of minutes there. We have a bunch of Barracudas now being produced by Ski to try and mess with the units out before No One Cares. Mess with these shield boats, even get some damage down onto battleships. And in the Southern Navy, Tagada, undeniably, after getting all of that extra eco, has thrown it all into the Navy, and he is inevitable. He is Thanos right now. He's come in to snap away the entire existence of Hachamacha and when day breaks, because he has a huge naval presence down here, and it's just getting bigger. Battleships can trade with Tempests. You need like maybe 2 battleships and you can kill a Tempest. 2, maybe 3, well micro. The Tempest is going to still be an issue as it has a bunch of battleships supporting it, but Tagada's going to be able to throw quite a bit here, and he's now getting RAS SCUs up and online from his main base. So Tagada is the man to beat right now. They need to start dealing economic damage to him because he is going to very slowly, but as I said, almost inevitably, be able to just beat Hachamacha and No One Cares, and when day breaks off of this position. He's just got so much economy behind him. He has so much production. He's constantly throwing battleships at the situation, and he can afford to. He can afford to lose a ton of battleships in this fight as long as he forces Hachamacha out of the water. And the second he does that, Hachamacha's in a very rough spot. We might see another attempt to get, like, maybe another Tempest online. I'm not sure if that's what Hachamacha thinks is the right call. It's very difficult what to do, to say what exactly you should be doing in this kind of situation. a ton of destroyers. How many Exodus is that? An absolute ton of Exodus. And what these Exodus are doing is they're acting like frigates normally do for destroyers. They are here to tank shots. He has replaced his frigates with destroyers. That's how rich this man is. Because as long as his battleships aren't getting hit, his battleships are getting free damage onto the battleships of Hachamacha. So he's really playing this quite well, is Tagada. It does look like he's slowly getting thinned out. A lot of reclaim still going on for Hachamacha, and that's really what's sustaining him right here. The engineers are going to die, but he's always sending out more. Hachamacha also abusing the Asylum T2 mobile and mobile shield, trying to drive everybody crazy with that. In the northern pond, it looks as though Ski is slowly making progress, but just not nearly enough to really make a huge impact on this game. And it's just the Tagada show right now as he continues to press forward and continues with his RAS SCU production, I believe. Yep. He's just going to get more and more economy as the game goes on, and he's going to start being a huge pain in the neck for Team 2. Team 2 by no means is out of it. They're still very much so in this game. A nuke launcher starting for Snid, and we have, I don't know if we have anti-nuke finished anywhere. We do have anti-nuke finished up for Willy Wanker Noob, so it's not going to be really an option. No anti-nuke for Tagada, but Tagada has so much economy, like where do you nuke the man? Monkey Lord on the way for Tagada. In the Southern Navy, still a slow and grueling fight. There's battleships dying on both sides, but the reclaim may be the decider here. We have shield boats now being spammed out by when day breaks. These shield boats are going to be doing what the Asylums are also trying to do, just try and absorb damage, try and make every single unit you produce more cost effective, and it's starting to look like there might be even numbers of battleships for both sides. It seems as though Tagada may have been producing, not focusing quite as heavily as he was for a minute there on battleship production, and he's probably mass stalling right now, or if he isn't, I'm kind of surprised at how much he's been unable to keep up with the battleship production, because I think he has more factories at any given time producing battleships, but maybe I'm wrong on that. He still has about 7 or 8 here, but there's about 7 or 8 plus a Tempest for Hachamacha, and it seems Hachamacha and When Day Breaks may have weathered the storm. We also have Blazes, and Riptides, of course, have been a constant threat in the southern pond. Riptide's pretty good into battleships, as Riptides, the slow fire rate of the battleships means that the Riptides can just constantly pour their damage into these battleships and not really stress about getting killed. The battleship's not going to be able to kill them all very quickly. The Blazes also kind of fulfilling the same exact purpose. And all of this hover spam is going to start becoming an issue, and that's, I think, why we're seeing so many T1 factories being produced. We're trying to, it looks as though Tagada is going to be trying to get back into mass frigate production in order to stop this T2 hover spam from Team 1, or from Team 2, from stopping him. Hachamacha with a line of battleships and an aircraft carrier. Still fighting it out. Man, such a beautiful game. We have the Monkey Lord has completed for Tagada. Gonna have to decide how he wants to use that. The nuke launcher is completed just now for Snid. And up here to the north, the anti-nuke is about to be loaded. Yeah, it's about 60 to 70% loaded for Willy Wanker Noob. There is no anti-nuke yet again for Tagada, but as I said, where do you nuke Tagada? Where's the best place to nuke him? Once you figure it out, let me know. No anti-nuke in the middle, and no anti-nuke for No One Cares. No One Cares may be the best option to nuke. Tagada has kind of started to be dealt with. Nothing he's doing is really working anymore. So Tagada, he's kind of been stalled out. His push is no longer working. But No One Cares is still putting up a huge defense against Ski the rock player. And while we talked about Ski a lot more early on, he's kind of struggling against the shield boats, and that was a support commander. A support commander from Tagada. I thought for a second I missed a snipe or something, and was freaking out trying to figure out where it was. Another huge naval engagement over here. It's much less of a spectacle without those Aeon projectiles, but still. These players throwing everything into the Navy, and then some. On the southern pond, we still have fighting breaking out between these two players, but at this point, there's like 4 or 5 players involved in this southern navy. There's 3 for team 1, or 3 for team 2. You could argue that there's not really all that much coming out from Snid, but he is there. And then there's kind of just Tagada, along with some help from Willow Anchor Noob. It is, of course, still a 3v4. Tagada still having control of half of the economy of his team, and he's now producing bricks and monkey lords. Looks like he's going to start attempting a land-based offensive against Wind Day breaks, or maybe even just go into the water and walk up on land somewhere else. Tons of SAM sites being thrown up on both sides. And these players still just duking it out. The nuke launcher, about 25% complete on the first nuke. Anti-nuke has been finished for multiple players on Team 2. Yep, most of the players on Team 2 having anti-nuke now. I think maybe Wind Day Breaks is the only one who doesn't have it. And he may have it somewhere in this jumble of stuff. But Wind Day Breaks and Hacha Macha using hover spam, using a lot of cooperation and team play, using experimentals to kind of just slowly push back the navy of Tagada. And Tagada, I don't know if he's just not able to keep up APM wise, but he looks so strong just a little bit earlier on, and it's just seeming like he's not able to keep up with Wind Day Breaks and Hacha Macha at the moment. The hover spam really helping out. Every time they shoot a anytime something's not shooting at the battleships, you're getting value. And any damage the blazes do was not expected. They are literally, they will do damage, but they're not expected to be killing ships. They're expected to be really messing up pathfinding and messing up targeting for these ships. And that's the main point of building the hover spam armies to go with your navies. The battleships still duking it out. There's despite literally constant action and constant fighting, it's a very stagnant game. The battleships over the naval engagement down here for about 10 minutes has gone from right here at the production facilities to right here, like a mile away from the production facilities. And that might sound like a long distance, but it's subcom. A mile is nothing. It's just slowly inching its way towards Tagada. This tug of war is a slow, brutal grind in which, whoa, over 100,000 reclaim on the map, and out of that 100,000, 50,000 is right here, and the other 50,000 is pretty much right here. These two ponds just absolutely soaked in blood. The water is running red. The seas have turned into a killing field, and there's many casualties on all sides, but these players continue to duke it out. These players have killed off all of their opponent's naval units many times over, but the constant supply of more naval units has meant that there's been constant fighting this entire time. And it's not really about how many battleships or destroyers you have right now, it's how many you have to replace them. And if that number is more than what you currently have, you're doing it right. For each ship that falls, 2 will be built. This Tempest has gotten insane value. 47,000 mass killed and counting. Almost 5 ranks of veterancy. Multiple battleships getting veterancy ranks. Just an absolute slugfest down here in the Southern Sea, and I love it. A second Tempest has been completed. We had an Atlantis out somewhere over here. Yep, right here we have an Atlantis. Multiple experimentals. Both of the naval experimentals being used. Over here in the northern pond, it looks like No One Cares is slowly being forced out of this northern pond. This naval engagement did not go the way he was wanting it to. The amount of battleships on the field, he's heavily outnumbered. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the way. Maybe even see another one over here. A ton of battleships. He, of course, has his own battleships producing, but he's only producing battleships with one factory. And looks like Neptune-class battle cruisers with the other. Do we have any spicy meatballs? We have multiple nuke launchers now completed for SNID. We don't have any other like game indie type stuff going on. The Monkey Lord and Brick aggression now making its way to the front lines, making its way to the defenses of Wind Day Breaks. And there needs to be a solution out here, and it probably needs to come from the air player because there's not nearly enough ground defenses built up for Wind Day Breaks to kill this Monkey Lord in a timely manner. This Monkey Lord might break the game wide open for Tagada. He's going to be killing off a lot of the economy of Wind Day Breaks, and Wind Day Breaks he's invested a significant amount into the Southern Navy, helping out Hachamacha, and this mass wall of frigates coming in. So many naval factories out from Tagada. Tagada may finally have gotten what he needs to push Hachamacha and Wind Day Breaks out of the Navy for this entire. I know it says 30 minutes up here, but we've been here for nearing an hour, and Tagada's just been beating down on Hachamacha and Wind Day Breaks, and they've gotten little glimpses of hope, but it just seems like it's not going to be enough, as it's basically using Tempests to survive at this point, constantly putting them underwater and pulling them back up above the water to try and deal with the battleships, because the battleships can very easily focus down a Tempest. And the Monkey Lord getting into the base. Wind Day Breaks not very far away from this Monkey Lord. Could possibly see the Monkey Lord come in and kill off Wind Day Breaks entirely. But the base of Wind Day Breaks is going to die either way. And this is going to be, I think, the first nail in the coffin, really, for Team 2. They had a pretty good opener. I don't know if sniping off You Suck Mad Dick was the right call out from SNID. It gave Tagada enough breathing room to really go in and tear into Hachamacha and Winde breaks. It also gave him the economy to build a monkey while he was at it. And the Monkey Lord over here is going to be able to get significant damage done before it goes down. I do think it'll go down before it kills off Winde breaks. The Riptide's coming in. They have decent DPS and doing quite a bit to this Monkey Lord. Gets another rank of veterancy. In the Southern Navy, we still haven't seen a Tempest go down, but we do have a Tempest at 62,000 mass killed. Another one about to die at 9,000 health and 6,500 mass killed. 1,300 mass killed on the third one, but the battleships are just dissipating and things are falling apart. The Monkey Lord goes down to a bunch of Corsairs. And the naval battle, it continues. But it looks like it's going poorly now for Hachamacha. Tagada continuing to apply the pressure that he's been applying all game to Hachamacha. And Tagada's still producing Rascoms. He hasn't really focused too heavily on the production of Rascoms, but he does have a few always kind of sitting around in the Southern Navy, always kind of reclaiming, constantly getting him more economy. A RAS SCU over here about to suffer a horrible fate of death by Cooper for Ski Ski. Ski Ski and No One Cares still having quite the battle over here, using factories seemingly as a, well, one, a way to produce engineers for reclaim, but two, just kind of a way to tank damage. Like, if shots ever go into these factories, then it's not really a big loss for Ski Ski. And Hachamacha and Winde breaks still managing to make this Southern Navy look close. Still managing to really just threaten the Navy of Tagada. And the hover spam still working decently well despite the massive influx of frigates. It seems that every time Tagada gets close to taking down Hachamacha and Winde breaks, he shifts his attention to building something else like a megalith or a monkey lord, and that sucks away all of his economy for the Navy. A strategic launch has been detected. I don't know where it's going, but if it is indeed going for No One Cares, this could be significant. The naval HQ for No One Cares being attacked by a bunch of Barracudas. I don't know if that's going to be significant. I don't know if that HQ is going to go down. I'm still trying to track the tactical missile out from SNID. I don't know where it's going. Maybe going for the middle base, but I'm not sure. That might kill off a megalith. And the game just paused. No One Cares Control Ks and leaves the game and decides to give up as he accepts the fact that his naval factory is probably going to die. Or was he killed by... No, he didn't leave. He was killed off by a Corsair snipe out from Ski Ski. I think Ski Ski is the only one, or maybe it was SNID who made the Corsairs, but either way, a Corsair snipe nonetheless, killing off No One Cares, and that base being transferred over to Willy Wankernoob, who at this point we're starting to get to the point where Tagada and Willy Wankernoob need to start looking at game enders. They don't have the APM, I think, to keep up with all of these other players who are near their level or at or above it. And Team 2 just doing a wonderful job of playing defensively down here and letting Ski Ski get the work he needs done on the other side. The nuke still flying over. I think it's going to be able to kill off whatever is over here. It's going to kill off whatever it was aiming for, really. Maybe it was aiming for the megalith, in which case, no, it won't kill it off, but definitely wasn't going for the main base, was it? There's no way he can imagine that you would do damage. Nope. It's starting to arc down, and this nuke is going to land on the forward base, formerly held by You Suck Mad Dick, and been held by Tagada for a long time with some infrastructure investments out from Willy Wanker Noob. And with that, the infrastructure investment out from Willy Wanker Noob is going to be it's going to be a very bad. His stonks are going down, red line down, very bad. Willy Wanker Noob now getting aggressive in the Northern Navy as these ships continue to trade blows and die for their righteous cause. Or not so righteous cause, could be a fucking depraved cause. But they'll damn well die for it, believe you me. 3 Tempests, a bunch of Omens, an Atlantis, a ton of Parashields, or a ton of Asylums, and you too can win Navy, maybe. Sneed has his random ASF is just cancer. How many ASF Sneed? It seems that Willy Wanker Noob is just annoyed by the fact that Snid over here is deciding to just randomly send ASF out to kind of cut off the torpedo bombers and such. I'm not making air. Well, if his answer is I'm making nukes, is that is the correct answer. He's making many a nuke launcher. This Northern Navy slowly looking like it may be coming in clutch for Willy Wanker Noob, but I'm not sure yet. Tagada's calm over here near the water. But Tagada starting to be pushed back, and if this does not succeed over here for Willy Wanker Noob, if this naval presence isn't enough, then... And I don't think it will be. He just doesn't have the number of battleships needed to combat the fact that there's like 10 galaxies here and he only has a couple of summits. Another nuke launcher about to finish up for Snid. The megalith making its way down the middle causeway towards the base of when day breaks. And just a lot of units always dying. Like, there's just so much to look at. I don't really know what I should be looking at. I guess we'll continue to look over here. The Tempests continuing to make inroads towards the base of Tagada. Tempest very nice because they can, whenever you have a few up, you can kind of just tell them all to fire on the same battleship and they will eliminate it from the face of the planet very quickly. And if one of them starts taking substantial damage, you kind of just pull it back, put it underwater. You also have Atlantis, always trying to make things difficult. This Atlantis killing 13,000 mass worth of stuff. Coming above, it keeps on surfacing to try and deal with torpedo bombers. I don't know if its anti-air can fire while it's submerged. I thought it could for a second, but I'm not sure. And the Atlantis is going to go down to the torpedo bombers out from Willy Wanker Noob. torpedo bomber is starting to become a real issue for Team 2, as both Hachimata and Winday Breaks starting to feel the pain of these torpedo bombers as they unleash massive amounts of torpedoes onto the experimentals for both of these players. I'm still surprised by this. I never do this, like I always want to build shields, but Hachimata only really building shields right here. He just doesn't care about shields elsewhere. Also, that's a ton of factories making blazes. A stupid amount of blazes, a stupid amount of riptides being produced. The Northern Navy is just collapsing. Willy Wanker Noob seemingly unable to deal with this, and we have a T3 support commander. I don't know if it had teleport or if this was a drop. It was a drop over here now for Snid. And he's going to start killing off some of this extraneous eco, some of this periphery eco for Willy Wanker Noob that was gifted over to him when his ally No One Cares died. And he's now spamming up a bunch of T1 anti-air to try and deal with the fact that there's going to be an ungodly amount of T1 bombers coming over here to try and kill off this RAS SCU. And the SCU gets back into the T2 transport, and the auto guns are going to kill off all of the T3 mass extractors over here, and all of these factories are going to be able to start producing Medusa and be very annoying. Another strategic launch has been detected, of course this time coming out yet again from Snid. I don't know where this is going to be targeted. It could be targeted at anything, including, I don't know, naval production. It was targeted at the island for Tagada. That's going to be 5 T3 mass extractors going down, but you should have a ton of RAS support command units that you can rely on. He still doesn't have an anti-nuke in his main base. Oh wow, that like he has it built, but he doesn't have it completed. That could be very dangerous. I think Snid will have another nuke relatively soon. Maybe not. The T1 bombers doing glorious damage to all of this T1 factory stuff. And of course they are shimmers, so they stun anything they hit, so everything here is perma-stunned. Or at least pretty much, may as well be. UD better than Tagada will 3 times eco. Better than Tagada with 3 times eco, I think that's what that means. And UD is of course Hachimata, but I like saying Hachimata, it's more fun. And yeah, he has quite the Navy presence. Tagada's Navy about to be hit. Or wait, no, that's going for the island still. And Tagada having connection issues. He may have just alt F4'd, in which case this game is pretty well and good over. And if he leaves, I'm sure that Willy Wanker Noob will also leave relatively soon. So if that's the case, thank you all for sticking around. And yeah. Man, this was such a fun cast to do. I don't know about doing live casts, though. It's very much so slower because this has slowed down more than it needed to. Also, speaking of which, the Megalith is going to die to a bunch of Medusa. And we have a very salty boy, Willy Wanker Noob, salty in the chat. Very upset that Tagada didn't straight up win Navy. But it's hard. These players are really good, and they're really good defensively, and they're really good at reclaim. Whenever you constantly fight on their side of the map, they're going to abuse you with reclaim. Especially if you can't stop them from reclaim or reclaiming or get it yourself. Oh, somebody else ejected him, so I guess we're all going to eject him now. I mean, once one person ejects, everybody has to. Yudi ejected him? I ejected afterwards, but, you know, whatever. I don't know. I don't know if this will go into the cast or not, but still. Willy Winker Noob leaves as well. Okay. I guess. That's the end of the cast. Thank you all for watching. You all have been beautiful. Yep, they're both gone. So that's the end of the game. Thank you all for watching. You've been beautiful. Like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you to my patrons, Timothy Calderwood, Sergeant Syphilis, Nogthar, GTVA, Idle Betazoid, Mutant Gene Pool, and I think that's all of them. So, yeah. You're very, very beautiful. Yeah, the game should just be over, right? Yeah, the game's over. Bye-bye!